Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make a pseudo gold frosting effect, which is really fun. So here I've got a 8-inch cake board attaching a 5-inch board with some buttercream and popping it into the freezer. In the meantime we'll work on our bottom tier. That's a 7-inch cake, just one cake, and I've divided it into 3 layers. And I'm going in with my buttercream frosting. Adding it to the middle, making sure to press it out to the sides. And then once all your layers are applied, go on and add your crumb coat and trap in all the crumbs onto the side of the cake. So pressing that buttercream to the side and then using my bench scraper just to smooth it down, make it look a bit neat. And with my spatula bringing that lip of frosting to the center of the cake. Pop it into the freezer for 10 minutes and in the meantime we'll work on our top tier. And I've done the exact same thing here, a 5-inch cake on a 5-inch cake board. It was one cake divided into 3. And I followed the exact same steps. Bring yourself eye level with the cake to make sure that it's on straight and it's nice and flat at the top, it's not slanting. And then create your crumb coat again. Smoothing down the sides and the top and back into the freezer. And that stays there for another 10 minutes. In the meantime, we'll work on our bottom tier, which is a 7-inch cake. Applying a decent amount at the very top and kind of rotating my turntable and keeping my spatula steady to create that nice smooth finish at the top, and then go in with a decent amount on the side, smooth it down, and it doesn't have to be too neat because now we're going to go in and make it look really rustic. So I've taken a bit of frosting on the tip of my spatula and I'm just stroking it onto the cake and leaving that frosting behind, so it looks like there's like dollops of frosting have just been applied. And I'm kind of pushing the frosting on and stroking towards myself, kind of a 35-degree kind of angle. Once that's all been covered at the top, clear it up and pop that back into the freezer. I'm just clearing up the board here, and it stays in the freezer for another 10 minutes. And in the meantime we'll work on our small cake, which has been resting in the freezer. I just applied the larger layer of frosting and doing the exact same thing here, but now in slow-mo, or real time. Applying a bit of buttercream to the tip of my spatula and just stroking it onto the cake. And you can see there's like large dollops and large layers and it looks very rustic. Clean it up and back into the freezer for another 15 minutes because we're going to handle it with our hands and we don't want to dent the buttercream. Here I've got some Champagne Gold by Creative Cake Decorating, added in some vodka. If you don't, you're not able to use vodka, you could use rose water instead. And the consistency of this paint is like a paste, not necessarily a paint. It's actually pretty thick. And I'm just going in and painting over some of the strokes to make them look like they were gold. So try to find where the stroke starts and ends and fill it in completely. If there's that kind of bulgy section on as part of the stroke, paint that in as well, like I did here at the top. Now I'm adding in some straws. These are very large straws that kind of use as dowels to support the weight of the top tier. If you did not add these straws in here and you were to put a top tier onto your cake, it will sink right into that bottom tier. So don't skip this step. Then I'm releasing my cake, the 5-inch, with my spatula, and I just plunked it right on top. And because it's been sitting in the freezer for 15 minutes, we can handle it with our hands very easily. And again, going in with a couple of strokes, painting them in. And I have some fresh carnations. Do give these a wash before you pop them into your cake. And I just arranged them at the very front, so you could tell my cake was slightly off center to make room for all of these flowers. I've used the buds as well, added some to the top, and making sure to add some carnations at the back of the cake so you can't see the stems. And lucky last, I went in with some gyp flowers as well, or baby's breath would do the trick. And I think it just really changes the whole look of the cake, just makes it look so much more elegant. And you're done. Here's an example of a rustic cake decorated with some fresh carnations, some gyp, and gold paint. It looks as though you've actually added frosting that was gold, but really we just painted it in. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. And if you like any cake toppers, I do sell those on my website, rosiesdessertspot.com.